Hey everybody. So in this video, we're going to do a basic process on some data from a friend of mine. This video is kind of for him, kind of give him a workflow that he can work with, and I figure this will be really good for Pixinsight beginners who are just kind of overwhelmed by what we see here on our screen. It's not like Photoshop or GIMP or anything else. It's kind of its own little world, so it can be kind of scary at first. And we're going to try and fix that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our file. We'll go to File, Open, and I've already done some work on this image, but we're going to start from the beginning. So here's our fit file that we're going to open. All right, so we got our standard black screen, and what we can do is we can do a screen stretch. So this doesn't actually affect the image, it just allows us to see what is in the data. So here we have a really bad green cast, and there's a number of ways to remove this. This particular image doesn't have an image solution, and I wasn't able to get an astrometric solution using the image solver script. So we're going to do it by hand. And the way to do that is we're going to separate this into its separate RGB channels, which is really easy to do. And then we're going to use linearfit to put them all back together. So first thing we want to do is this button right under image is going to allow us to split our RGB channels. So go ahead and click that. And as you'll see, we have our 3 new monochrome RGB channels. We're just going to close that out because we don't need it. As you see, they are all monochrome. So what we need to do now is a process called linear fit, and we go to process, all processes, oops, sorry about that, all processes, and then linear fit. And we want to align the channels to the brightest channel, which happens to be green. So to do that, we go to reference image right here, and we click this icon, go to this drop-down menu and select our green channel, and then click OK. Now we take our linear fit box, this little blue triangle, and we're going to drag it over to our red channel, and then we're going to click, hold, and drag to our blue channel. So we can close that out, and then we want to put all these back together. And the way we do that is we go to Process, go to Channel Management, and then Channel Combination. And here in this channel combination window, we want to select our individual R, G, and B channels. So for R, we will click this icon here and select R. G, same thing. G, B, same thing, B. And then we click Apply Global. That's this blue circle in the bottom left. And we can close out the channel combination. We can close these out. And we have our new image. I'm going to re-identify this. So we right click, identifier RGB. Okay, now we can do a screen stretch on this. And there's 2 ways to do it. Control A or Command A on a Mac, I believe, or you can click this icon here and go down to the nuke screen symbol, and that will achieve the same effect. So as you see, we have some artifacts here on the bottom that we want to get rid of before we go any further. So I'm going to zoom to fit, make this a little bigger because we want to crop it. So we're going to use the dynamic crop process to get rid of these artifacts, which is Process, Geometry, Dynamic Crop. And then we will click, hold, drag, and let go. And then hit the green check. And now we have our cropped image with all the artifacts gone. So the next thing that we want to do with this image is we want to try and get rid of this green circle, this soft green gradient, as well as the vignetting around the corners. Now I prefer to use dynamic background extraction for that, but it's a little bit more involved and can be kind of scary. So we're just going to use the automatic background extraction for this, which is Process, Background Modelization, Automatic Background Extractor. And we're just going to go ahead and use the default settings, except we need to change the target image correction. And for this image, I think that division is going to be our best bet. And then we will hold, click our triangle, drag and drop. Okay, so let's get these kind of to a manageable size. So what this tool does is it looks at the image and it calculates what it thinks is the background error and then subtracts it from this image to create this image. And this is the error that it thinks this image has. So if you notice, we have the dark corners here, just like this image, the dark corners, and we have the big green gradient that we see here. And this is the resulting image that we get. So it did a pretty good job with this image. We still have a little bit of the green and a little bit of the vignetting, but not really a huge deal. So we will go ahead and close those out. We don't need them anymore. Now our image is still in a linear state. If we turn off screen stretch, this is what our image actually looks like right now. The next step is going to be to do a screen transfer function stretch. And so we will re-enable the screen stretch, and then we will go to Process, Intensity Transformations, Histogram Transformation. So you notice on this histogram that we're seeing here, because it's a linear image, we're not seeing any of the data. It's all kind of squished down into nothing. And so we want to change that. And the way we do that is we use a process called screen transfer function. And this kind of takes what the screen stretch is doing, and you can take that and apply it to our histogram transformation by holding on the triangle and dropping in this gray area right here, the gray bar, and you notice this curve changed. So this is the curve that it's going to apply to the image when we drag and drop. So you notice the screen turned white. We don't have an image anymore. That's because our screen stretch is still enabled, and when we disable it, we have our image. And our image is no longer in a linear state. It is now stretched. I think for the purposes of this video, we don't need to go any further. I will probably do a continuation on this video to show some more advanced processing techniques where we can take this further and pull out a little bit more detail, a little bit more contrast, and come out with a better image. But I think this should get all the beginners started and, you know, getting your feet wet with Pixinsight and not being so scared of it. So I appreciate you guys for watching and have a good day.